Hello everyone, it is time for us to learn about history. This is the last lecture video before we enter into the battles of the Second World War, so we shall review what we have learned so far. At the beginning of this topic, we try to understand the relationship between the two world wars. The First World War created problems in both economic and political aspects. Economically, the war created economic problems including unemployment, starvation, and inflation. At the same time, countries like Germany and Italy were not happy with the Paris peace settlements. Italy believed that they should get more lands, while Germany was treated unfairly as a defeated country. Added with the economic recession caused by the Great Depression, some countries turned into totalitarian states as people longed for a strong leader to save them. Militarism became popular in Japan, while Nazism became widespread in Germany. The Great Depression also had a great impact on the three democratic governments, Britain, France, and the United States. As all of them faced economic recession, unemployment, inflation, and poverty caused social instability in their countries. Compared to internal affairs, foreign issues became less important in the eyes of the political leaders. For example, President Roosevelt carried out the New Deals to stimulate economic development in the United States. He decided not to interfere in European affairs but to concentrate on solving economic problems in the United States. So did Britain and France. Their first priority was to create jobs and pacify people's anger in their own country. To stop Hitler's aggression? No, not our immediate task. In addition, the Great Depression also helped bring aggression because the military strength of Britain and France were weakened. These countries did not have sufficient strength to stop aggression of Japan, Italy, and Germany. You should have learned that Hitler wanted to gain Sudetenland after occupying Austria. He claimed that, according to the principle of self-determination, Sudetenland should belong to Germany, as most of the residents were ethnically Germans. Britain and France was weak at that time and decided to satisfy Germany's demands. In return, they hoped that Germany would keep their promise and stop expansion. Another reason was that Britain and France share a closer identity with Italy and Germany than the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was established based on communism. Historians usually describe them as the leftists, as they support radical means to transform the society. Other countries thought that this was too dangerous to the stability of the society. As you can see, Britain and France were closer to Italy and Germany, as shown in the diagram. They hoped that giving Sudetenland would lessen pressure on their side and caused a conflict between the Soviet Union and Germany. As mentioned before, the United States had to focus on redeveloping her economy. As a result, the United States decided not to interfere in foreign affairs. Only criticism were given to aggressions, without taking any actual military response. At first, the Soviet Union wanted to cooperate with Britain and France in response to the German expansion. However, the adoption of the appeasement policy showed the weakness of the British government. The Soviet leader Stalin then decided to negotiate a peace treaty with Hitler to ensure the national safety of the country. Eventually, the Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact was signed in 23 August 1939. The content of the pact can be divided into two parts. Firstly, Germany and the Soviet Union agreed to maintain peace between them. Secondly, the two countries agreed to divide Poland by using military action. The second clause made the outbreak of the Second World War nearly unavoidable. It was because Britain and France clearly stated that they would declare war on Germany once the latter attacked Poland. One day after the German invasion of Poland, Britain and France declared war on Germany. The Second World War then broke out. Let us review the change of the international politics by using animation here. We divide the period into three: early 1930s, late 1930s, and during the Second World War. There were two great powers on the left-hand side, the United States and the Soviet Union. Both of them were alone. What was the difference between them? The United States decided not to make friends with other countries and adopt the policy of isolationism, while the Soviet Union was isolated by the Western country. At the center, we saw the four permanent members of the Council, the League of Nations. They dominated the world after the First World War. These four countries were Britain, France, Italy, and Japan. They were all victorious countries of the First World War. Surprisingly, Germany was the friend of China. Germany provided military support to the Chinese government led by Chiang Kai-shek to eliminate the power of the Chinese Communist Party. However, a lot of changes occurred within the last few years of the 1930s. Firstly, the League of Nations no longer served as a peacekeeping institution. Italy and Japan decided to draw closer with Germany. Later in 1940, these three countries formed a military alliance and called themselves the Axis power. Germany also signed a peace treaty with the Soviet Union, the Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. The Soviet Union finally broke the isolation since 1924. Britain and France became weak in stopping aggression. They decided to negotiate with these aggressors and follow the appeasement policy. To a certain extent, the Second World War started in Asia, as Japan and China were at war since 1937. Britain and France also dropped the original appeasement policy and declared war on Germany due to the Polish disputes. Yet, France was defeated by Germany within 6 weeks in 1940. Later, Hitler decided to attack the Soviet Union in summer 1941, forcing the Soviet Union to cooperate with Britain. In order to get natural resources in Southeast Asia, Japan launched the Pearl Harbor incident and carried out large-scale offense program to conquer the colonies of Britain, the United States, and the Netherlands in Southeast Asia. The United States and China also joined with Britain and the Soviet Union. They were the big four of the Allied powers. Axis powers were not able to compete and being knocked out one by one, first Italy, then Germany, lastly Japan. In the next lesson, we shall go through those famous battles of the Second World War. See you next time.